Well, hi again, everyone. This is Tim from Cleveland Baseball Fan 879, and this is the continuing series of the 1998 Yankees against the 1976 Reds. If you do not want to know what the series is because you haven't watched, please skip forward for about the next 10 seconds. The 1998 Yankees won their first two games at home and will be heading to Riverfront Stadium to face Fred Norman and the Cincinnati Reds. Now, lineup remains the same for both teams. So it's Knobloch leading off at second base, Jeter batting second at shortstop, Paul O'Neill at batting third and playing right field, Bernie Williams in center field cleaning up, Charles Chili Davis batting fifth and playing and the designated hitter, Tino Martinez batting sixth and playing first base, Scott Brocious batting seventh and playing third base, Jorge Posada batting eighth and catching, and Ricky Leday batting ninth and playing left field. Defensively, behind Norman, behind the plate is Johnny Bench. At first base is Tony Perez. At second base is Joe Morgan. At third base is Pete Rose. And at shortstop is Davey Concepcion. Left to right in the outfield, left field is George Foster. Center is Cesar Geronimo. And in right field is Ken Griffey. Then just known as Ken Griffey, but Ken Griffey Sr. All right, here's Chuck Knobloch to lead off the game. Four and a five against a righty. Swung on and missed, struck him out. One away. And here's Derek Jeter. Oops, and we have to get all of them through or else it doesn't count. Five and an 11 against a righty. Ballpark single. Ballpark single is 1-13 for a lefty, 1-7 for a righty. And ballpark homers are 1-6 for a lefty and 1-9. That 15 is too high. So 5-11. We'll say that's a line drive. Right-handed to the shortstop. Two away. Here's Paul O'Neill. Once again off the 5 column. 5-7 fly ball to left field. And Foster is there, and that will retire the side. We are through a half inning. It's the Yankees nothing, and the Reds coming to bat. Pitching for the Yankees is El Duque, or Orlando Hernandez. Now, all pitchers will be considered fresh out of the bullpen because we did have a travel day, so there will be no pitcher fatigue for the relievers. Or at least there will be a fatigue what's on their inning, but not previous fatigue. 2 and an 11. Ballpark single, 19 is too high. So that's a line drive to the second baseman. One away. And here's Ken Griffey's father. 4 and a 7, 1-5 single chance. The 16 is too high. So another line drive to the second baseman, Knobloch, who retires Ken Griffey. And here's Joe Morgan. Three and a 4. And as some have said in the channel, as smooth as a baby's bottom. High, deep, and gone. Kaboom. Joe Morgan has given the Reds a 1-0 lead on a 2-out home run. Put that back again. 3 and a 4 against a righty. No split chance, just a solid home run. Morgan did have 27 in 1976. And for the first time, the Reds will take a lead. Here's Tony Perez. 2 and a 10. Ground ball to Jeter, and he throws out Perez to retire the side. But the Reds get on the board and lead 1-0 after one. Be right back right after this. Okay, just want to make the score bug a little bit smaller so you can be seen a little bit better. Okay, so due up for the Yankees is Williams, Davis, and Martinez. And here's Bernie Williams against the lefty. Switch hitter batting right-handed. 3 and a 9, and he draws a walk. Williams does have to be held on, but Norman is a 0 hold. Bench is a -3, so -3, -5. They will hold him on, but he will not go anywhere. Havoc roll for Norman. Nothing on the 19. Here's Chili Davis. 6 and an 11. And switch hitter betting right-handed, right field chance. Now, for most people, I don't re-roll all three. Whatever shows up on the D20 is either going to be the decider between a split chance or the range for the fielder in question. So fielder in question is the right fielder. Griffey, a 3 and a 7 should be okay. And it just is. Is going to track it down. Griffey is an E7 and a 12. There is no 12. Great running catch by Ken Griffey as he bangs into the warning track. Now that's a fly ball. It's a F1. So that means that Williams will advance to second base. Oops, didn't even have him on the play. So here's Tino Martinez still holding on Williams. Nothing on the 3. Four and a 12 against the lefty pitcher X. 13 for Norman. He's a 5. Oh boy. Not great coming off the mound, but I think 13 will be, yeah. They're a little more generous with pitcher ranges. He's an E0, so all he has to do is make the play. E0, there is no error. Well, I have to see if there's a rare play. I do have to roll in case there's a quote-unquote rare play. And there is not. So, 5 and a 13. There's a G3, so every G3 is runner advance. So, a little dribbler up along the third base line. Norman wheels to first. They get Martinez, but going to third is Williams, but there is 2 outs. For Scott Brocious. Brocious against the lefty will actually get a hit on a 2-7 and 3-11. Havoc roll for Norman, nothing on the 13. Three and an 8, and that's just a bit outside ball 4. Second walk in the inning. Here's Jorge Posada. They will hold Brocious on. Nothing on the 3 again. One and a 9, swung on it, missed, struck him out. And the Yankees are retired here in the top of the second. They leave 2, but do not score. And the Reds still lead 1-0 going to the bottom of the second. Dreesen, Foster, and Bench due up here in the bottom of the second. All right. Oops. Let's get Mr. Dreesen up here. Okay, here's Dan Dreesen. Three and a 10. Ballpark blast. That ball is high. That ball is deep. And that ball is out of here. As long as he's got normal power against righties, so yes. Well, actually, that's a 310, so it's a ballpark check, not a power check. Actually, it would be a power check. So, yes, he is normal power against righties. And so Dreesen hits one out of here. And the Reds doing something they did not do at Yankee Stadium. Let's make good contact, at least not much. 2-0 Reds. And here's George Foster. Two and a 5. And that's ripped into the gap. And that will one-hop the wall. And into second with a stand-up double is George Foster. And, oh boy. You have Ramiro Mendoza and Darren Holmes loosening in the bullpen. They're your two kind of long relievers, unless they want to go with Hideki Irabu, who's sort of the starter who's not going to start, but I put him on the roster to possibly pitch. Here's Johnny Bench. Havoc roll for Hernandez. Nothing on the 4. Oops, and that will not count because that did not go through the tray. One and a 6, and that's ripped into left field for a base hit. They were not holding Foster on. Probably should have. So it makes him a 16. That ball is hit the left field. So Lede is a 0 arm. Now for super advanced, some people play it how they want to play it. I only play it if there's multiple runners on. Hold on. I'm going to reread the cutoff rule and I'll be right back. All right, so I guess I have been doing this wrong because Rule 13.6.1, when a manager decides to score a runner from, or the runner from second base on a single followed by no asterisk, the defensive manager has a choice of throwing home or conceding the run, preventing the trail runners from advancing. Note this rule also applies when the runner goes to first and third. So if they throw home, so the defense throws home, the offensive manager decides whether to allow the trail runner to attempt to advance an extra base. Offensive manager chance to hold the Okay, so essentially what happens is they can either throw home or they can try to get the trail runner if they want to send the trail runner. So 1-16 with nobody out. Hold on, I'm going to try to reread this again. All right, so I guess I've been doing this wrong. My apologies. They will let the runner from third score, keeping Bench at first base. So 2-run single, they're 80% chance they're deeming it not worth it. 3-0 Reds. They'll keep bench at first, though he has to be held on. 3-0 Reds. Here's Cesar Geronimo holding bench on. Still nobody out. Nothing on the 17. Two and a 5. And that just gets by the shortstop Jeter up the middle. But quickly racing in is Williams. They will hold bench at second. 4 straight hits to open up the second inning. So first and second, they will hold all runners, as Geronimo also runs very well. Here's Concepcion, havoc roll for Hernandez. 1-8 wild pitch chance. Not on the 20. Okay, here's Concepcion. Ooh. No, I'm not going to bunt him here. They are not expecting a bunt. One and a 10. Ground ball to third. Brocious to second to get Geronimo, and that's all they will get. Bench will go to third. Concepcion reaches on the fielder's choice. Runners on the corners with 1 out. And they're going to try to cut off this run here. They're already down 3-0. They're going to play the infield in. The Yankees are. Havoc roll for Hernandez. Nothing on the 20. Rose lined out his first time up. 4 and a 7. Switch hitter batting left-handed. Line drive and nice snag by Knobloch. And everybody gets back to their base. 1-5 would have been a single, but that's an 8. 2 down, infield back to normal. And here's Ken Griffey. He lined out his first time up. 3-0 Reds here in the bottom of the second. 1 and a 6. And that's driven deep to left field and left center field, and that goes over Leday's head, splits the gap. In from third is Bench. Stopping at third is Geronimo. So they get the ball in. RBI double for Ken Griffey. And it is 4-0. And if any of these runs score, it may be a very quick night for El Duque. They're going to try to see if he can't get out of this inning. Here's Joe Morgan, 8th man to bat in the inning. He homered his last time up. Nothing on the 6. 6 and an 8 against the lefty. Fly ball to center field, and Bernie Williams camps under it, makes the catch, and that retires a side, but the crowd gives a nice ovation as the Reds put up 3 and lead 4-0 after 2. So maybe the Reds are enjoying their Skyline chili a little bit too much, a lot today. All right, Leday, Knobloch, and Jeter due up here in the top of the third. All right, here's Leday. Two and a 12. And against the lefty, that's a pop-out first base side, foul territory, and Perez makes the catch 1 away. Now, I will say this, if there is injuries, I guess I could roll for if they're either in or out. 1 day injuries only. All right, here's Knobloch. Struck out his first time up. Two and a 10, and that's a bouncer back to the mound. And Norman fires to first to get Knobloch 2 away. Here's Derek Sanderson Jeter. Two and a 10. Ballpark blast, but righty is 1-9. That's a 12. And that will be, catch up into the wind. And making the catch is the left fielder Foster, and that will retire the side. We go to the bottom of the third. 4-0 Reds. And you've got to think this is the rest of the innings now will sort of be like a point of weakness for Hernandez. If he gives up, I'd almost say 2 or more base runners, then that's it. All right, Perez, Dreesen, and Foster. Two, and that's a base hit to right field. And Holmes and Mendoza are still loosening. Perez will be held on. +2, +1, -1. So we'd be 1-14, but with a 4-0 lead, I'm not really stealing. All right, here's Dreesen. Nothing on the 18. Dreesen homered his last time up. 5-5. And against a lefty, that ball is high. That ball is deep. And that ball is out of here. Dan Dreesen has just went deep for the second time tonight. Three RBIs and 2 home runs. It is now 6-0, and that's it for Hernandez. Darren Holmes will now come into the game as Hernandez pitches 2 innings, gives up 6 runs on 8 hits. He did not walk anybody and did not strike anybody out. Wow. Okay, so here is Darren Holmes. And when he gets done, Arabu may come in just to kind of eat some innings if this game isn't any closer. All right, here is Foster against the righty Holmes. 4 and a 7, 1-12 single chance, and that's a 9. And the Yankees are ready to curse my D20. Base hit for Foster. They will hold him on. And wow, don't mean to kind of do this, but I mean Foster, if he's going to be only a -1. -2 for holding him on, and then Posada is a -1. He gets the jump on a 7. And he gets it. So 1-18, and Foster will steal second. And he's in there. So Foster steals second. And there may be, it's the 3rd inning, so I guess they're going to try to pad their lead. They know how potent this Yankees lineup can be. All right, they'll hold Foster at second. He will not try to get a jump going to 3rd. Nothing on the Havoc roll. Here's bench. Four and a 9. And that's a base hit into right field. Foster being held on makes him a 14. That's to right field. So O'Neill's a -3. They'll put the stop sign up. Runners on the corners with nobody out. And Holmes is putting gas on the fire. Here's Cesar Geronimo. Havoc roll for Holmes. Nothing on the 3. Here's Geronimo. Singled his last time up. Infield playing in. They're going to try to still cut off some runs here. 4 and a 6 against the lefty. Struck him out. So Holmes, big strikeout on Geronimo. Here's Davey Concepcion. Hit into a fielder's choice his last time up. Nothing on the 12. So I guess if they're playing the infield in, they're not holding on the runners. Havoc roll for Holmes. Nothing on the 16. Here's Concepcion. 4 and an 11. That's a deep fly ball to center field. Racing back is Williams. He will have room and make the catch. Foster tags up and scores. Bench stays at first. 2 outs, but another run scores as Concepcion does his job. Add 3 more. It is now 7-0 Reds. And they will hold bench on. Here's Rose. Havoc roll, nothing on the 3. Three and a 7 against the righty. Fly ball to right field. And Rose is now 0 for 3 as that retires the side. But the Reds get 3 more and lead 7-0, as I'm sure the Reds fans that are subscribed to the channel will be very happy about this. All right. So Norman will face O'Neill, Williams, and Davis here in the top of the 4th. Four and a 7. That's just a bit high. Ball 4. And they will hold O'Neill on. Down 7-0. We're not going to try to get a lead. Havoc roll for Norman. Nothing on the 11. Here's Williams. Four and a 9. Switch hitter batting right-handed. Triple to 1. Single to rest. And on an 11, that's a single 2 stars. And just like that, runners on the corners, nobody out. And the Reds will play the infield back. They'll gladly give up 2 outs for a run. Here's Chili Davis. Nothing on the Havoc roll. And they will not hold any. Well, yeah, they'll hold all runners. Six. Switch hitter batting right-handed. And that's key there. Fly ball to center field. Back goes Geronimo, and that's caught deep enough to score O'Neill from third. And there goes the shutout. It's now 7-1 as Davis gets some congratulations in the dugout. All right, so 1 out, runner on first will have to be held. There's Tino Martinez. Nothing on the 9. Six and an 8 against the lefty. 1 to 10 single chance. The 17. That was the 17. Line drive to the first baseman, and Williams gets back alertly. 2 away. And here's Scott Brocious. And let's see if there's a balk or a pass ball chance. Let's see here. 4 is a pass ball chance. Bench is a PB2. So 1-2, and it's a pass ball. Not in the 11. Okay, so here's Brocious. Oops, and that won't count because all dice have to go through at the same time. Or not the same time, just all have to go through the tray. 4 and an 8. 1-2 single chance. That is a 2. So first and second with 2 down. Brocious has reached base twice today. And here's Jorge Posada. His Sparky's in the dugout biting his fingers a little bit. Havoc roll. Nothing on the 18. Six and a 3. Left field chance on the 20 that will be in range for about anybody. Let's see here. Foster is at 2E2. 2 and a 10. That should be fine all day. Yeah, that's good. And racing over and making the catch is Griffey to retire the side. The Yankees get a run, but still trail 7-1. As Holmes will enter his second inning of work. And he will face Griffey, Morgan, and Perez. Griffey doubled his last time up. 5-5 against the lefty. Swung on and missed. Struck him out. 1 away. Here's Joe Morgan. Three and a 7. 1-2 triple chance. That's a 10, so that will be a 1-out single. Yeah, oh boy. I mean, 6-run lead. I think I'm going to try to steal up until about the 5th or 6th inning. Sorry. 2-5 or 11 and 12. And he gets the jump. And that's a 10, but there is a chance to pick him off on the 1. Now, if you get the 1 on the D20, you roll against his second number. If it's 1-15, he gets back. If not, he is picked off. And he gets back. So, Morgan possibly getting a little stare down from the Yankees. Remains on first, being held on. Havoc roll for Holmes. Nothing on the 7. And here's Perez. 4 and a 6. And that's a bit low, ball 4. And here's Dan Dreesen. Havoc roll for Holmes. Nothing on the 9. Dreesen, 2 for 2 with 2 home runs. A solo home run and a 2-run homer. 5 and an 11. Okay, lefty is 1-6. That is a 5. And that ball is high. That ball is deep. And that ball is out of here. Dan Dreesen having the night of his life. A solo home run, a 2-run homer, and a 3-run homer. And boy, I tell you what, if Dreesen comes up with the bases loaded, and I can get the cycle grand slam, the home run cycle solo, 2-run, 3-run, and grand slam, that would be something. I'll even put that up with a no-hitter or a perfect game that I could roll on strat. I think this is my first ever 3-home run game. So, congrats, Dan Dreesen. So you can say 5-11 against the lefty. Ballpark blast. 1-6 for lefties. That's a 5. Wow. 3-run homer for Dreesen. 10-1. And now I will call off any steals. I will not be stealing now. 9 is I would say 9 is the magic number, but we shall see. And Ramiro Mendoza is loosening in the bullpen. Five and a 7. Not tired because he's not in his 3rd inning of work. And so the strikeout is good. 2 down. And here's Johnny Bench. Four and a 3. Third base chance for Brocious. That was a 5. Brocious is a 1, so he'll get to anything. It's just his E24 is a little scary. E24 and a 13. There is a 12, 15, and 18, but there is no 13. So Brocious scoops it up. Nice play. Throws out Bench. And that retires the side. But Dan Dreesen, the man of the hour, 3-run homer, and is now 10-1 Reds. So I'm sure many Reds fans were wondering where this offense was in the first 2 games. Well, they have now found it. And Norman, who has faced 17 batters through 4 innings, will face Lede, Knobloch, and Jeter. 5-5 against the lefty. Struck him out. Here's Chuck Knobloch, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Six and a 6. And that's a fly ball to center field. Geronimo tracks it down. And that will retire Knobloch 2 away. Here's Derek Jeter. 0 for 2 himself. And 5 and a 5, but this time against a righty, that's just a bit outside, ball 4. They will not hold Jeter on, but he will not be going. -3 for Jeter, he'd be 1-16. No, they won't even bother. Havoc roll, nothing on the 8. Here's O'Neill. Wow. 5 and a 7. Fly ball to left field. And Foster makes the catch, and that retires the side. He allows a walk, but nobody scores. And bottom of the 5th, this will be Holmes's point of weakness inning. Geronimo, Concepcion, and Rose do up here in the bottom of the 5th. And here is Cesar Geronimo, 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. 5 keeps coming up a lot. And Geronimo has weak power, so that will just be will fall in for a single. And they will not hold him on, and he will not be going anywhere, even though they have asterisks. So Havoc roll for Holmes. Nothing on the 8. Let's try to shake these up a little bit and not get a 5 result. There we go. 1 and a 4. Ground ball to third. Brocious gets the sure out at second, and they will have no play at first. 1 away. Here's Pete Rose. Havoc roll. Nothing on the 8. Here's Rose. 6 and a 9. And switch hitter betting left-handed. Fly ball to left field. And cruising over is Leday. 2 down. And here's Ken Griffey Sr. Nothing on the 4. Two and a 6. And that's a bouncer to first. And Tino Martinez takes it to the bag himself. And for the first time, the Cincinnati Reds have been held scoreless in an inning. We go to the 6th now. This is Norman's point of weakness inning, but they will pretty much they might let him go until he is tired. And Ramiro Mendoza, who pitched in the previous game but only pitched like an inning or 2/3 of an inning, will continue to loosen. He will come into the game in the 6th inning, probably looking to maybe pitch the final 3 innings. All right, Bernie Williams leading off against Norman. And we'll redo that again, as they all got stuck. One and a 4. And that ball is driven deep to, let's see, left center field. Looking up is Foster, and all he can do is watch it go. Home run for Bernie Williams. And we will get bullpen action for... we'll get Manny Sarmiento and Pedro Borbon loosening in the bullpen. I think we'll give Chile one more at bat here, I think. Especially against the lefty. 3 and an 8. And that's ripped over the center fielder's head. And that's a double. And I think that's it for Norman. Borbon will come on. All right, and here's Tino Martinez. Nothing on the Havoc roll. 10-2, Reds lead. But runner on second with nobody out. 3 and a 3 against a righty ballpark single. Lefties are 1-13. That's a 7. So that will just get past the second baseman, and on to third is Chili Davis. And the Reds will play back. They will not hold any runners on. And here's Scott Brocious. One swing of the bat makes this a rather interesting, well, let's say rather interesting game. Nothing on the 15. Six and a 3. Left fielder chance. Foster 2 and a 17. He'll make the catch. And if he makes the catch, all runners will have to hold. And an 8-2, there is no 8. And that's flown into shallow left field. Running in and making the catch is Foster, and everybody holds. One away, and here's Jorge Posada. Havoc roll. Nothing on the 4. Here's Posada, struck out and flew out in his 2 at-bats. Six and a 7. Second base chance. They were not holding anybody on. 2 and a 6. Be a G2 pound. So possible force play. Morgan is an E17. There should not be a... Oh, is there an 11? There is not. So, yeah, G2 is first and third. Yeah, fourth. So they throw a nice play by Morgan, the second to get Martinez, but that's all they will get. Scoring from third is Davis, and Posada places Martinez at first. Now 10-3, but there are 2 outs. And Ricky Leday, no, 6th inning. We can't make any changes until the 7th. He will face Bourbon. Havoc roll for Bourbon. Nothing on the 9. Four and a 7 against the lefty. 1-8 single, excuse me. That's a 16. So line drive caught by Joe Morgan, and that retires the side. The Yankees get 2, but still trail 10-3. As Ramiro Mendoza now comes out in game. Darren Holmes. Let's see here. Pitched 3 innings, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. He struck out 3 and walked 1. And so now coming into the game will be Ramiro Mendoza. He will face Morgan, Perez, and Dreesen. So unfortunately, because Dreesen's due at 30, can't get the home run, but let's see if we can have him do something that hasn't been done in a lot of Major League games. All right, here's Morgan against Mendoza. Get him in the scorebook. Four and a 7, fly ball to center field, and making the catch there is Bernie Williams. One away, and here's Tony Perez. Perez singled and walked in 3 plate appearances. Four and a 6, ground ball to short, and Jeter retires Tony Perez. And coming to the plate and getting a standing ovation is Dan Dreesen. 3 for 3, 3 home runs, and 6 RBIs. Or 6 RBI, if you want to call it that. Whoops. And had the right column too. Let's see if we can redo that. Three and a 5. And well, he won't get the home run. That's down the right field line and into the corner. And you cannot stop Dan Driessen. You can only hope to contain him, and they did with a double here. And they will hold Driessen on. Here's George Foster. Single and a double in 3 attempts. A 1, so 1-4 is a wild pitch. And nice stop by Posada on the 5. Four and a 6, ground ball to short, and Jeter will throw out Foster, and that retires the side. Go to the 7th, 10-3, Reds lead. Bourbon will come out for his second inning of work. And top of the order, Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill. Oops, does not count. Two and a 7, and Knobloch walks. And they will not hold him on. 10-3 now. They won't. They will not try to get it. Not try to steal. And here's Derek Jeter. Jeter is 0 for 2 with a walk. 2. So balk or pass ball chance. 1-2 on a pass ball, and not on a 12. Okay, so here's Jeter. Four and an 8. And field goal roll against Bourbon. Popped up, just got underneath it. Shortstop Geronimo, or Concepcion, sorry. Calls off Geronimo, makes the catch, 1 away. Here's Paul O'Neill. Nothing on the 10. Five and a 7. Base hit to right field. Now, going first to third against right field, you add 2 to the run rating. So not being held on makes him an 18. 20, right field. Griffey's only a -1, so they will let him go to third. And so runners on the corners. They still won't hold anybody on, but here's Bernie Williams and Will McEnany and Manny Sarmiento are loosening in the bullpen. Havoc roll for Bourbon, nothing on the 16. Playing the infield back, still trying to get double play ball if possible. Whoops, and does not count. And a 6 and an 8. Switch hitter betting left-handed. 1-2 is a double. That is a 2. That was a 2. And so Williams rips one over the head, and scoring from third is Knobloch. Into third is O'Neill. And we've got the Trucker 10-4 score. And Bourbon, oh boy. So, do we pull him now? Yeah, they will pull Bourbon. He pitches an inning and a third, or he pitches an inning. No, he pitches an inning and a third. And they will call on Manny Sarmiento. And now, do they want a pinch hit for Davis here? Not yet. Okay, second and third, Sarmiento now in the game. Havoc roll for Sarmiento. 1-5, it's a wild pitch. Not on the 6. Good stop by Bench. Five and an 8. Second base chance for Morgan. That's a 6. That if is that another G2 pound? It is. So oh boy, 14, 17 and a 14. I guess. Yeah, E17 for second baseman. There's a 15 and an 18, but no 14. So G2, second and third. The runners will advance. So he knocks it down. He gets the sure out at first. Two outs, but the Yankees get another run on the board. It's now 10-5. Hold on, timeout. Okay, so Davis is retired. That brings up Tino Martinez. 2 outs, runner on third. 10-5 Yankees. Nothing on the 18. Six and a 7 against the lefty. Fly ball to shallow left field. Racing in is Foster. He makes the catch. And that retires the side. But the Yankees get 2 more. Stretch time at Riverfront Stadium. 10-5 is your score. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back for its root. Root for your favorite team. They don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. All right, bottom of the 7th, bench Geronimo and Concepcion. One, 4, and that ball is hit high. That ball is hit deep to left field. Back goes Leday, and that ball is out of here. That is the 5th home run of the game for the Reds, as 1-4 against the righty, 1-12, and it would not matter if it was lefty or righty. His 1-4 is his home run chance, and the 10 would have been good on either side. So now it is 11-5. And here's Cesar Geronimo, 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Three and a 2. And he hit him. I guess I'll play injuries now. Injuries. And hold on, where is the injury chart? Is the injury chart on the other chart? Injuries. All right, I think it's the same as the one that's on the advanced chart. So 1-4, he stays in the game. Everything else, we're just going to play 1-game injuries. And that's a 17, and he has to be replaced. Actually, since this is a playoff game, Let's see. I'm just going to say they're one-game injuries. So they're game day injuries. So Geronimo, hit by a pitch, will have to be replaced. And let's see who will replace Cesar Geronimo. And it looks like Mike Lum will be replacing Geronimo. And now I'm almost assured of it that one of the it's actually pretty decent defensively. He's a 3E1, runs at a 12. And Geronimo will sit for this game. All right, here's Concepcion. Havoc roll for Mendoza. Nothing on the 3. And it's not a game. Unless the dice go off the table. Now it is a game. 3 and a 9. Base hit to right field. Lum runs at a 12. He gets a 2 bonus for... And the right fielder, O'Neill, is a -3. So 1 to 11, they'll put the stop sign up. And first and second, nobody out. Let's see here. Graham Lloyd and Jeff Nelson loosening in the bullpen. Here's Pete Rose. Pete does not have a hit today. 2 lineouts and 2 flyouts. Nothing on the 12. Six and a 7. Switch hitter betting left-handed. Base hit for Pete Rose. In from second is Alum. Excuse me. The third is Concepcion. And Pete Rose finally gets a hit. And here is Ken Griffey. Infield will play in. They just want to get outs. Havoc roll for Mendoza. Nothing on the 18. Six and a 6 against the lefty. 1 to 9 single. That's a ground ball to short. Since we were playing the infield in. First and third, ground ball B is a 7. Batter safe. Lead runner is out. So, well, sorry. So Concepcion is out. 6-6. So 6-2. Concepcion is retired. And Rose moves to second on the fielder's choice. So out at the plate, 1 away. And now they'll play the infield. They will not hold on any runners. Seeing it as an 11-5 game in the 7th inning. All right, here's Joe Morgan, singled and homered and flew out twice. Nothing on the 10. Three and a 4. And that ball is high. That ball is deep. And that ball is out of here. 3-run home run for Joe Morgan. And him and Dreesen are having a little competition here. As now Morgan has 2 home runs on the day. 3-4, 3-5. And let's see here. Righty, lefty, righty. Jeff Nelson is being called into the game for Mendoza. As the Reds have put up a 5-spot second home run of the inning. And it is now 15-5. And Nelson will face Tony Perez as we may start looking to maybe replace some people. Here's Perez, singled and walked in 4 appearances. 4 and a 6, and he walks Perez. Wow. Here's Dan Dreesen. Not taking him out. He's having too good a day, especially if he's on 4 home run watch. Nothing on the 4. Nope, 4 and a 5 struck him out. Second out of the inning. Here's George Foster, 8th man to bat in the inning. Or 9th man to bat in the inning, sorry. 9th man to bat in the inning. Nothing on the 11. Here's Foster. One and a 6. Struck him out, and that will retire the side. But the Reds put up 5, and it is now 15-5. Reds lead. And Sarmiento will stay in the game. Got the final 2 outs in the previous inning. Brocious, Posada, and we'll get a pinch hitter for Ricky Leday. Here's Brocious facing Sarmiento. Two and a 10. And that's a bouncer to second. Morgan throws out Brocious, 1 away. And here's Posada. And that will not count. And we'll take a timeout real quick while I find the die. All right, and die has been found. Here's Posada. And jeez, wow. I'm getting wild just like the pitchers probably are. Okay, try this again. There we go. 6 and a 9. Shortstop chance for Concepcion. He is a 1, but his big issue is that he is an E30. And that's a 2-base error. I can already almost figure that out. Yep. So he throws it in the dugout, and Posada will get second. So Ricky Leday will be hit for. Chad Curtis will grab a bat. All right. Here's Curtis facing Sarmiento. Have it roll. Nothing on the 4. Six and an 8. Fly ball to center field. And making the catch there is Geronimo, 2 down. And here is Chuck Knobloch. Actually, no, Geronimo didn't make that catch. That is Lum that made that catch. Now, of course, what did I say? After you replace him, then the ball will find him. 1 and a 6. Field goal roll there for Knobloch. Ground ball to the short, and that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Reds lead 15-5. As Nelson will trot back out. So we'll have Bench, Lum, and Concepcion. Sarmiento will stay out and try to finish off the game. Actually, yeah, try to finish off the game. Here's Johnny Bench. Homered his last time up, 3 for 4 on the day. 1 and a 3. And we will re-roll this Ballpark Blast. He's a righty, so 1 to 9. And no. So that ball is caught by the left fielder, Chad Curtis. Of course, get in and you get the hit. And here's Michael Lum. I believe he played for the Braves back in the 60s. And maybe in the 70s too. 6 and an 8. And struck him out. Here's Davey Concepcion. Six and an 11. Fly ball to left field. And Curtis retires. Concepcion, 1, 2, 3 inning. And that might be a first for... Yes, it is. We will go to the 9th. 15-5, Reds. Sarmiento will try to get through the 9th. Will McEnany is loosening up just in case. And here's the pitch to Derek Jeter. 0 for 3 with a walk. Jeter, O'Neill, and Williams. 4 and a 6. And that's over the first baseman and down the right field line. And Jeter gets his first hit to lead off double here in the 9th. Here's Paul O'Neill not holding on Jeter. Havoc roll for Sarmiento. Nothing on the 7. Here's Paul O'Neill. 1 and a 7. Struck him out. 1 away for Bernie Williams. Chili Davis on deck will be pinch hit for. One and a 6, and that is a 9. So will not be a triple, but that will be a double for Bernie Williams. And it is now 15-6. And Chili Davis will be called back. And yes, while he wasn't on the roster, I had to get somebody who was equivalent. Darryl Strawberry will pinch hit for Chili Davis. Or at least if he was on the roster, he did not get an at-bat, but he will here. All right, so Strawberry against the righty. One out, runner on second, not being held on. 5 and an 11. Line drive to the third baseman, and Rose snags it. 2 down. And Tino Martinez, last hope for the Yankees. Havoc roll for Sarmiento. 1-5, a wild pitch. And that's a 7. 1-4 for Martinez. 5 and a 7. Not tired Sarmiento. So that's a fly ball to center. And Lum pats his glove. And that's your ball game. Final score at Riverfront Stadium. Oops. The Yankees do get 1 run here in the 9th. 15-6. I'll be right back with the line score. Right, final line score. 15 runs, 18 hits, and 1 error for the Reds. 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Yankees. Your star of the game, Dan Dreesen, 3 home runs and a double. Drove in 6. Joe Morgan gets a nice little honorable mention, hitting 2 home runs. Fred Norman with your victory. He went 5 innings. And the rest of the bullpen helped clean it up after that. Orlando Hernandez, your losing pitcher after that. I believe the next game starting pitchers will be Pat Zachary and Andy Pettit. So for the next game, as the Yankees drop this one, they still have a 2-1 lead. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. Please leave a like if you can. It helps the video to be seen. If you would please subscribe, that'd be great. If you've not already done so, and click the bell icon, you'll be notified of any new videos. And whatever game you are playing, please enjoy it to your fullest. Have a good day, everybody.